Welcome to Season 7 of CX in the Wild. We're happy to have you back on the adventure with us again.
Kacey, it's so nice to get a chance to sit here and talk with you. Let's tell the audience who you are and what you do.
I am Kacey Tolua, and I am the Senior Director at Marriott International for the contact centers. So we call them Customer Engagement Centers, so CEC, and I'm in the technology space. So the areas that I'm responsible for are the Center of Excellence Technology, of Knowledge Management, Workforce Management, Training, Quality, Business Speech Analytics, all operational efficiencies, including Agent Assist. In our world, we call it Associate Assist. And then also all the custom applications. And then I also am responsible for leading the global infrastructure for our CECs worldwide.
What a great voice to have on CX in the Wild. I appreciate your time and being here today. I think what I want to dive into is a couple of topics that your voice, I think, will help the worldwide audience. And again, anything that I ask, just say pass if it's a question that we shouldn't be covering. But I would first ask you, what do you make of all of the change in our industry in the last couple of years? AI has come in. We get it. AI is here. But then you have like all these people screaming, all of these like fantasy promises. Some of them are real. I feel like people who are actually delivering value are getting drowned out by all the hype. What do you make of all this change? It's such a new world.
What I think is interesting is the change and the topic of AI. I personally think starts with the mental and emotional of the change management of things that are happening in the world. It is a new technology. It's a new way of living. It's a new way of leveraging technology. And it really starts with people saying, do I want it? Do I need it? Should I jump in? Is everyone else part of it? Kind of that fear of missing out type situation. And then others are just confused. I think there's fear of loss of job security, not ensuring or knowing how will I manage my organization in this new world. So to me, it's very interesting that it starts more with the mental and the emotional than it does with the actual technology.
I love that you started there. Thank you for being so thoughtful in your answer. There's this thing called the lump of labor fallacy. Have you heard of it?
No.
All right.
Tell me more.
So there was a study done in the 1900s. There was this concern that immigrants would steal people's jobs. So there, you can imagine that was a hot topic. Like, I don't want these people coming here because they steal my jobs. Here's the brass tacks on that study. In a world or a country where there's natural birth rates and the population is growing.
Yes.
Immigrants don't steal jobs. It's a lump of labor fallacy. You don't lose jobs because more people come to your economy. That's number one. The other thing is there's this adjacent concept that technology, you put in a factory with robots and people lose their jobs. Also doesn't happen. And I think back to what you're saying, the emotional, the mental state of affairs is that people view AI as both a new technology, but also an immigrant.
Interesting.
And so it triggers people. But I don't think there's as much to worry about there. I've been having a lot of conversations. Also, what I love about, I think this is why we get along, is you jump in and you're being thoughtful about your answers. So many people go on to like a script that they're reading about AI.
Oh, interesting.
And you didn't do that. And what I'll say about it is everybody has this hot take on how AI and humans, and I just feel like people are reading a press release. But the fact of the matter is, if we take a step back and we get real, no one's going to be running a business or anything without humans. Like, why we even have to have the conversation that humans need to be in the loop. If one more person says human in the loop to me, I'm going to lose it. We're in the loop. We wrote AI, we created AI, and it's going to be here. That all being said, maybe because of your expertise, can you help me get to the real truth around these technologies? And here's the first one I want to address, and just say pass if you're like, this is like in development. But AI, Agent Assist, is that hyper reality? You can say pass.
I'm trying to think of this. One, I would just say it's easy to not give you a scripted response because I just feel so comfortable with you. It's just such a fluid, and it's always a pleasure to just have a sit-down conversation with you. So when I think about agent assist, I'm not sure what you mean by hyper reality.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say agent assist is here. AI is going to just come on and agents magically get all the answers at their fingertips.
Okay.
And when I think about that, I love the idea of it. I don't know if it's a real thing or not. Is it?
The first thing is to understand who is agent assist for, because if we respect the tenure of experts, of agents who come in every day to answer phones or to answer in chatbot or messaging, and they are passionate about helping the customers, after they've worked there for a certain amount of time, how much does agent assist really benefit them? They've memorized the content. They know what matters to their customers. They understand the purpose and the true experiences that they're bringing. And so when we think about agent assist, is it more so for the new hires who are coming in to learn the more tactical? But really, when you think about art and science, the art is what you bring to each and every interaction with the guest versus more so the science is that agent assist portion.
I just feel like we did save the very best for last podcast with you because we can run a little long. I'm going to unpack that. So first of all, again, thank you for your honest wisdom. I'm always, even myself, I struggle to keep the agents and the humans as the center of my focus. I get distracted by these shiny objects and these big conversations, but you're right about that. Who is agent assist for? That's such a wise way to think about it. As we move forward in this brave new world of technology, do you feel like the agents, their universe is getting better? Do you think that analyzing all these calls in real time, being able to give evidence of success or learning opportunities in real time, how much of an impact do you think that's going to play in the next year? Because that's such a new thing that's coming online for everyone.
To me, I do think that real time is very, very critical. And to me, it's a game changer. And there are a lot of solutions out there that can promise, I can get you the data in 1 to 2 hours. But we aren't waiting for a guest to catch on 1 to 2 hours after they've hung up the phone or finished that interaction. So real time is absolutely critical. And I think with the real time, what it does is one of the important things that we need to do is be able to listen to our guests, listen to what the opportunities are. If the technology walking side by side with us is not able to listen as accurately and be able to register what they're listening. I mean, in a marriage, it's either I hear you or I'm listening to you. It's got to be, are you really comprehending what's happening? So when we hear all of these technologies talking about sentiment and what is their true intent, or what if they ask for multiple intents, you have to be able to capture all of those, and you have to know what to do with them in that real-time moment, or you lose the value and you lose it quickly. So yes, I think real time is going to be very, very critical as we move forward. And even with the tenured agents, yes, there's going to be value if it goes to, I can't look up 10 articles at once and I can bring Gen AI in and bring it into one. But again, how much value is there if it's not in real time? I think one of the examples would be, let's say that there's a situation, there may be a cyber attempt that comes in. If a cyber attempt comes in, you're going to need technology robust enough to be able to not just say, hey, I just picked up a potential cyber attempt in one instance, but I in real time need to say there's also 10 other attempts or 100 other attempts coming in through other channels at the same time so that people can react, respond, and manage that quickly.
Being so real with it. I have a neighbor in my neighborhood. He is a cybersecurity expert for one of the major brands out there. And I asked him, I said, hey, bro, what's your budget? You got a ton of money? Like, you must be fighting off attacks left and right. And I said, what is the secret to like defense at your level? And he said, no defense. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on defense, because they're going to get through. Absolutely. He said, what I do is I save the vast majority for my budget for fighting it in real time. I don't want to have all this investment in firewalls and things that like they're not even attacking. I'd rather just save my budget and when they attack, deploy my funds to aggressively fight whatever's happening. And that real-time knowledge of it is so crucial to that. Yeah, I really admire what you were saying there. The real time, I think, is going to be very important. But now, based on what you've said about the agents and who is this technology for and why, and this sensitivity that you have to real time, I want to tell you something. I don't know if your ears were burning yesterday, but I did text you and tell you. So there was a gentleman on the podcast yesterday. He is in a credit union.
Wonderful.
He manages a credit union, a call center, a very big operation. And he was talking to me about his competition, how he stays ahead of the competition, and how he perceives the market. And he brought you up.
He did?
Yes. He said that when he looks at the leaders in the space and idea of competition, he's like, I'm in competition with Marriott or other hospitalities. Credit unions are one thing, but he said when he looks at the leaders, how they do it best, how they think about things, he brought you up. And I just thought, wow, I'm going to be talking. So I said I would connect you to compare notes.
You're so good at networking, and I would love to connect with your cybersecurity person too.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why I say that is I appreciate that comment that he shared, because a lot of times, I mean, even we as humans, if we burn our hand or someone, seems to be a threat to us, we pull away quickly, right? We just quickly try to get out of there as quickly as possible. But when it comes to the creativity of cyber risk, in a way, we also have to listen, because if we just keep turning things off and blocking them, we don't learn the behaviors. We don't learn the things and the new creative techniques that they take on. And so then we don't have the ability to manage that. So I like where he's going with that, because to me, I think there's some rhyme and reason to that.
I will connect you. I will definitely connect the two of you to have. I'm certain you will have some really great conversations. So when we think about building upon what we've said, the agents and who is this technology and for what does it do, the idea of being present, you're really talking about being present, which is a fascinating conversation because not very many people I speak to in the industry have the presence of mind that you do around these things.
Thank you.
Help me with the presence of mind around the transformation. I've said this many times over the last couple of days. The world is getting both bigger and smaller at the same time. When you're an international business, let's face it, everybody is an international business now. But what I see in the marketplace is I'll just call out a couple of things. I recently have partnered with Google. They came to me with this new Chrome OS for call centers, and very much like in the students, what they did for students about creating a machine that was safe, kept people from going where they weren't supposed to, scaled quickly for students during COVID. They've done the same technology, a version of it for call centers. So they have this thing called zero touch enrollment, where you can take 100 or 1,000 Chromebooks in Chrome OS and deploy it in anywhere in the world and have an instant call center of 1,000 people, which I thought was really interesting. Well, big claims. I went down to Belize. I took the Chromebooks, implemented them myself. No, unsupervised, just to see if it was really true, and it was. The reason I bring this up is agents are now being able to be employed and deployed everywhere in the world quickly. Technology is a huge enabler. AI is bringing agents up to speed more quickly. But from your perspective, where I'm going with this is multiple languages, having conversations across borders, across cultures, across technologies. You probably have a unique perspective at how that's unfolding on the global stage. Are you in a place to comment about your thoughts, philosophies, observations?
Pass.
Oh. Wow, I was just going to get to the good stuff. So pass. So here, let me share with you because I think you'll appreciate this. I had a podcast with someone at a different event, and they specialize in international language in call centers and large language models.
Yes.
And bringing them together. That where our conversation, she and I had this conversation is it's amazing how you can have a complete language model for one language and another,
Yes.
but they don't map to each other. And I was giving her the example of, in Japanese, the word hot for hot, like attractive, or hot temperature, or hot spicy, there's all different words for that. But
Yes.
in English, it's like hot, hot, hot.
Right.
What's interesting about these language models is they can compare one language and another, and they can spot where the missing words are and start to help you with a lexicon or an understanding of that culture in a way that you hadn't had before. Like, almost like, this is why y'all don't get along, because you're missing these words. But I do see that as we move to a more global economy, I just have so much hope for what's happening for people around the world.
I do as well. I mean, I was born in Samoa in the South Pacific Islands. I hope that everyone who speaks Samoan, Fijian, Tahitian, all of these, if they're not bilingual or multilingual, that they have the same opportunities for excellent customer service, amazing travel experiences, amazing experiences through all these customer service portals, just as much as anyone who does English speaking. And it is amazing, the large language models. The bespoke, to me, is something that I like more, is you can take all of the LLMs out there, but then really hone in and customize for the experiences that you want to. So they know your acronyms, they know the language that you speak, the culture that you speak. So being able to bring those together, wonderful, where the technology is going and where it can continue to go.
I'd love to hear your hot take on this. So this year, because last year I went to Africa to interview frontline agents and hear their stories, because I felt like people need to know about the rest of our industry.
Yes.
Here's what I'm doing this year. In October, I'm going to jump over the border because I'm the chairman of a CX event in Berlin.
Oh, wonderful.
But then I'm going to hop right over the border into Poland and do a story about building call centers, customer care centers in post-communist Poland.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I love history, so it's such a rich history there. But to bring that in, that sounds like an amazing opportunity.
And what's interesting about that, because we were going from the language, there they have a lot of language stories, but here's another one. The computer languages are the same. So they have so much programming talent coming into Poland out of Ukraine that now you have large language models, multiple computer languages and process. So Poland is sort of going to be a nexus for the next era, I think, of technology and customer care and AI, because AI, despite all the hype, customer care is probably one of the top 3 segments where AI is actually going to make a difference in the next decade. So I'll keep you posted on that. Outside of AI, what do you think technology, if I'm a young person in a call center and I'm just trying to learn from your wisdom, what other technologies are you paying attention to?
That is a great question. My whole focus, especially sitting here this week at Customer Contact Week, has really been seeking out the real-time technologies that are going on. But because I own such a broad space across training and quality, it goes back to that experience. I'm looking for anything that's going to welcome a new employee. Say they just get out of college. How do you welcome them into a company? If you have so much technology that is complex and it's overwhelming, that's a really poor experience for them, and the guests are going to hear that in their interactions. So I think specific technology, I'm looking for the themes. Is it efficient? Is it friendly? Is it quick and easy? But does it also pick up those meaningful things that will enable frontline agent to be successful? So even before they get on the phone or get onto a channel with a guest, I am looking for what can. And so I guess one of those would be like training simulations. You know, how do we welcome someone in the door as soon as they come in and say, you can do this, it's possible. All of these policies, we're going to help you through it. You don't have to memorize everything. And when I was younger, that was what it was. You had to memorize everything and be really good at it. So leveraging technology for what it offers today is that opportunity. But as they get better at it and they go to interacting with the guest, is just continuing that theme. Now, how do we make it so it's a positive experience for the guest and for the agent? And then, because this is critical, how are we driving revenue? How are we getting the results that each of our shareholders and our companies need? The outcomes have to be prevalent. And so I am definitely not looking for bright and shiny objects that feel good. It has to deliver the results. And so the technologies that can measure all the way along the way and prove out the concepts that they've claimed, that's what's critical.
As we come to the end of this episode, again, all you're saying is you're thinking and you're acting with intention in the present, whether we call it real time or we call it listening or hearing. You are the epitome of a leader that is focused on the here and the now, which my takeaway for the audience would be, it's okay to plan, it's okay to reflect, but there is a world of people and technologies and ideas that are moving towards the present with intention. And that's what I think you're trying to share with the audience.
Thank you. I am always curious. Innovation is extremely important to me. I'm very passionate about. And so maybe I'll look at a company today and they may be just starting out, but I'm watching them. I'm watching them for the next year or two, seeing how they grow, seeing what companies are using them and how their performance is improving. So it's exciting to hear all of the creativity that's happening. I like that it seems more limitless than it's ever been before. I can't wait for where we get to take it in the future.
Thank you for being a voice of hope and reason and wisdom. Kacey, it's been great having you on the show today.
Thank you, Dennis. I love the time with you.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like to access other podcasts, YouTube videos, or join Dennis on other adventures around the world, be sure to connect with us at www.globalvoiceofcx.com. Until next time, stay curious.